and welcome back again. So we're moving on to our Jenny, and we're going to make it a little bit more usable. So these are coated. Did I say coated? I don't know. These are hard coded ports. Well, that's no good to us. I'm going to leave the hard coded port in there for now. But what we're going to do is we're going to work on something. And to do this, this part is probably not going to be hard coded. This is going to be created in code. So we'll have that in the generator setup. So what we need to do is we need to make an array of these things. So what we're going to do here, we could set up locations all in code, but we'd have to figure out where we're moving them to. So to be honest, these are better off added in by hand, but then these can be automatically generated. Seems straightforward. So what we're going to do is we are going to add into our output here, basically we're going to give it a tag. So I don't know if you notice I had tag highlighted there. So we'll go to tags, component tags, and we're going to add in one. I'm going to call this ECP underscore O for output. Okay. What this does is allows us to find these objects, because these are scene objects. Yeah, so rather than create a whole new object, I can just use the scene object, so I can get all the actors of scene object with tag, and ECPO is the tag. Yeah. What we could do then is, so these are going to have to be hard coded. So for now, the initial Jenny, we're talking about 4. Yeah. And so what we're going to do is, let's just set this to rotate mode. No, not rotate mode. I don't want to do that. I just want to come around with the camera. Okay. So I've got them here at the moment. We're going to make this a little bit different, I think. So we're going to have in here, we're going to add a new box. Not a box, a cube. It is a box, but it's a cube. It's a cube box. Alright, it's rather large. So this is going to be under our main mesh. Okay, it's going to be attached to that. And this is going to be attached to the cube. Well, we won't do that in the moment. We'll just attach that back there. Let's get the cube into place. So we're going to bring it up. We're going to bring it towards us and then bring it up. There we go. And then we're going to bring it. Well, no, we won't bring it across. We're going to kind of center it. So let's get rid of this tag thing, and let's get our location as 0. That's perfect. And let's get our size down. So we want this really small, so let's get this, and we're going to just do those two. There we go. That's not too bad. And then we'll bring the size down. Hit W. And we're going to bring it forward again, and then we're going to bring this up. Okay, there we have like a panel. And I think that's too big. Yeah, I think that's too big. So let's scale that. You can press T on the R on the keyboard, and we're going to scale that. No, we're just going to scale it down. There we go. Maybe another one. That's jumping too much. That's set to 1 though. I think it's due to the scale. That will do. This will all be changed later on, and I'll show you how we do that at another stage when we actually make a decent mesh for it. So let's go back to movement. Let's move this up. So let's look from the side and see how deep that is. We only want it to just, let's turn that off and let's just nudge it back. Okay, there we go. So we now have, let's deselect that object, like a little panel interface. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create some sockets for these to go onto. Now what if we go back to our electrical cable and we look at the ends on it. We had those set to 0.05 across the board. So if we create them, then move them onto there is the idea. So we create them, then put them on there. So this is going to be our panel. We're going to use a new material. So let's find this one, and then we're going to create a material instance, and we'll call this MI generator panel. And the generator panel, we're going to make this a different color. So let's change this. So maybe some sort of, yeah, that looks kind of cool color. Yeah, I think that's nice. Let's save that. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our generator base, click on this, and it should be selected. So just click that arrow and it pops in. If not, just select it there. Click on there. This little arrow there. Okay, so whoa, keep doing that. Right, we have now our panel. Now what we need is some connectors. So what we're going to do in anticipation for that, we're going to create another material instance, and we're going to call this MI generator socket. Generator socket, and this is going to be a new color again, and this time we're going to make this a bit more silvery. So bring that down, and yeah, kind of like silverish kind of color. That will do. Save that. So that's in anticipation. Remember, we're not using it just this second, but we will in a moment. Let's rename this, and we'll call this connector. Oh, I'm doing it again. Connector panel. Okay. And as children of them, we're going to make we're going to make it there, add some cylinders. Let's see if I can spell them right in the first place. I can. And let's bring that into the default scene. Oh, why did it do that? I hate when it does that. Oh, we're already outside the main mesh. That's good. So this is going to be a connector. Connector _1. So I need to bring it up a bit, and we're going to put in there 0.06, 0.06, and 0.05. Okay, let's bring it out a little bit. That's a little bit larger than what we had our cables. It's just for aesthetic purposes. So what we need to do, we need to rotate that. So let's bring it towards us. So let's do it that way. 90 degrees. Okay. And now we're going to turn this back on. Do 10s for now. And we're going to do this. Press W, and let's move her up. 10's no good. 5's better. There we go. And across. So now we're going to do a front projection, and I can now see roughly where we are. The only problem is it highlights everything in purple. So if that's 0, and we're going to have 4 sockets, and that's the far left, 25. So that is going to be 20. So if we've got 25, 10 and 20, We've got a maximum of, on the whole panel, 30. So 30 divided by 3 is 10 and 20. So we've got 10 and 20. Yeah, that will do. That will do. So I'm going to set the colour of it now to our new generator socket again. Let's go back to perspective. Let's view the... Actually, no, we can do it this way. If we hold that, we can keep going. There we go. You can see when it goes inside, can't you? So we have a kind of a socket connection there. So if we hold the Alt key, and then we're going to move that to 10. Oh, that didn't work. Hold the Alt key. Oh, it doesn't work inside here. Now that's unusual. That's very unusual. Okay, nothing to worry about. So, Control D. And then Control D. And then Control D. Oh, actually I missed a trick here, didn't I? Let's delete that. Let's go back. Missed a trick. Now this, the ECP output, is going to go onto there. And it's going to be 0, 0, 0. Okay, the reason it's all zeros is the fact that it's just go 1, 1, 1. The reason it's all zeros is because it's centering on this object now. Yeah, so it's centering on this cylinder. So all we need to do is, if we go to the top and zoom out a little bit, zoom back in here, we want to just bring this the ECP output to the front. Now that's too much, so we're going to have to change this to 1 and switch it off at all. There we go. So it's just a little inside. Maybe go back a little bit. Actually, we'll leave it there. Put this back to 10. So we now have a connector and an ECP output, and that ECP output has a tag. We'll just double check that that's still there. Set it ECP. Oh yeah, perfect. So let's go back into perspective. We're now going to duplicate this object. No, it didn't work. I was hoping it was going to duplicate it with the underneath objects, but let's delete that. Let's see what happens if we do that. Yeah, it doesn't move with it, does it? So I'll put that one on there, and yeah, so we'll move this one. So we're going to go across just to 10, and then the other one, this is going to give us 5, isn't it? I didn't measure all the way across. I measured from the center, didn't I? That was a bit stupid. So let's just duplicate that and duplicate that. Okay, number 3 will be there, and number 4 will be there. Okay, we now have 4 connectors. Okay, well, I don't know why those two look more raised, but they're not. It's just an optical illusion. Okay, so now we need to duplicate 2 more of these. So Control D and Control D. Okay, so number 3, we're going to move across, and then number 4. No, we're not. Let's undo that. Back to here. We're just going to add that to connector 3, and then we're going to add that to connector 4. Oh, did I miss connector 4? Yeah, I did. So let's clear this, and then we just got to reset the center of these to 0 and 20. I think 20 was right, yeah, because I copied it from there, and that's 1. Yeah. So number 4 zeroed, number 2 zeroed, number 3 just got a 0, that one. There we go. So they automatically go to the center of the object they want. Yep, and I've set them back by 20 units. Okay, I'm now going to add these to the connector panel. So I'll bring one into there, and we'll bring 2 into there, and we'll bring 3 into there, and bring 4 into there. It's weird how it organizes them. Really weird, but not to worry. So now we have all these ECP outputs, and they're all numbered to the right ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it doesn't matter what they look like on here. This connector base, now I don't know if we're using any of the code in this setup at the moment, so let's have a look. We probably are. On the generator tick probably. No, we're not. Let's have a look. Find references. In the construction script. Yes. Let's get rid of that. We're not setting that up. Okay. So this base is going to go. Yes, it's going to confuse you, this one is. Where else did we use it? On generator tick. We're going to have to disconnect this for now because we can't set them to powered yet. So we're going to have to change this code. But that's going to be by the bys anyway. So let's get rid of this. There we go. So how do I ask? Do you add in these? So we got a problem. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we know that. We ain't bothered about that. So how do we connect to all these? So let's close all these up. We know they're all there. So what we need to do is we need to create a function, and that's going to be create ports. Yeah, we'll just call it create ports. It's using the base connector. But we're going to create them. They are ports. So to do that, let's hide these components to make things a little bit more visible. In the generator setup, it's actually not generator setup. It's just information more than anything, isn't it? Let's add in a new variable, and it's going to be called electrical connectors. What we need to do is set this to the same type as our electrical connector. So this is BP underscore electrical connector base. Okay, but we're now going to, we'll make that visible so we can see. We're going to come over here, and we're going to change this to an array. Okay, and we'll save that. Yes, we know. I might just disconnect that node completely just so I can still compile. So if I just undo those, so I know they all come from there, that will let me compile now. So we could call this generator config. Yeah. Yeah, generator config. It's something that's not technically in setup, and so we're going to call it generator config. There we go. Now there's nothing in here, and I'm not going to manually add them in. I'm going to create them at runtime so that when people have made these, it will automatically generate them. So in the construction script, we're going to run this create ports. There we go. So done that, but there's nothing in create ports. So what we need to do, we need to get get components. Okay, this works differently. So get components. Get components by class. Okay. Target is self, so it's all the components there. Yep. We know they're called. Then we know they're scene components. Actually, let's try that again. Get all it's not all. It's get components. Components of get components by class. Get components by tag. Oh, there is actors by class and tag, but just by tag will do. That's perfect. We don't need to specify. Oh, we do need to specify a component class. Okay, that's fine. So target itself, the tag is ECP. Oh, because all generators are ECPs. Yeah, there's sorry, they don't have an input, they only have output. So that's what we're looking for now. The component class is a scene component because that's all we use. We could create an object later on, but for now this scene component's fine. So what are we going to do for each one? So we are going to, for each loop through each one. Right. So what this will do, this will get for each one of these here. Okay. And we're going to give them names as well. We're going to name them the same as these outputs in a way. But you'll see. So we need to create a new object. So we need to add a electrical base connector, base object reference. So new construct object from class. There we go. The class is going to be hard coded because it's going to be a BP electrical connector base. Here is our spawn things. Yeah. Most of these aren't going to have any stuff at all. The owner is going to be the self actor. That's fine. We're not going to say it's connected. The parent actor is going to be self as well. Yeah, the parent actor is going to be self. So I could just put self, get reference to self. Okay, we're not going to check the parent supply at the moment because we're not actually using that. Whether it's powered or not, or the connection object. Direction will be output, so we need to make sure that's set to output. So we're creating an electrical connector base here. Oh, we do need to set the connection object. Now the connection object is there. Yeah. So as you remember, when we created this on its construction script, was it construction script? Electrical connector. No, when we use the cable, it gets the information using the connection object for where to plug into. Okay, so at the moment that's plugged into there, and it's not actually failing such. It's not actually failing. Yes, it is. It's failing now. So we'll probably get an error. Yeah, because it doesn't exist. Yeah, it's got nothing to connect to. So we're getting an error. that's fine. Let's just clear that log. So now you can understand, because we've removed that, there's nothing of it to connect to. So what are we doing now? So we've created a new one. We now need to, we've connected to the object, and now what we need to do is add it. So we want to get and then add just an item into here, and I'm going to push that up there because it's not in the way, and we're going to add this item in. Okay, now there's an error here. So what's it saying? Constructed object types. No. So construct from object class. Can I construct objects of type in construct object from class? Right, so we can't construct an item from class. Add new. So why can't we construct an item from class? Can I construct objects of type in construct object from class? So new component by class. That would make sense. Sorry about that. That was my mistake. I keep forgetting it's a components object. So let's just drag that down and then hold control key, drag that in. So if you were following along us at the same time, and let's drag those in and set the class to BP electrical connector base, and we've got the same information, and from the connection just disconnect that and then control that. Oh, control you. Oh, that doesn't work. Just delete that thing. And connection object. Let's just destroy that. Sorry, got a bit messy. There we go. Target self. Okay. So that will add into there. Compile. No problemo. It's now added in. You can't see them here. I don't know if you can see them in here yet until we run the actual. Yeah, we've run the actual thing. Now I want to name them. I'm not sure if it will allow naming them, but it would have been nice. So once it's done, that should be it. Now let's move this, and you see it automatically jumped to the first one because it now exists again. Now what we could do is do it randomly and just get to select one, but we're not doing it this way. We're not actually we're not actually going to do it in code how we connect this, but as you can see, it's jumped to the first socket, and that's because we now have them in code. So if I go into my generator and look at my config and hit, there we go, and they're called, ooh, for some reason we have trash ones. I'm not sure why that is. Not sure why that is. So let's run the game, and as you can see, even though the orientation's wrong because we haven't set that in the cable, the actual socket is correct. Yeah. So now we've got, let's play that again. Let's just see electrical connectors. I think we need to clear this. Yeah, I think I'm going to clear them on begin play so that there's no junk in there. So back into our generator. So that works fine. Create ports only ever happens once. So what we're going to do is get our array, and we're just going to clear. That will make sure that we have a fresh array, because there's no point adding ports if it's not clear. Yeah. So if we go into prototyping, we now only have the 4. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, and 3. That just makes it much safer. So let's go back to our cable, which is still there, and go, boom. Yeah, it's automatically grabbing the first one. Can we check if the others will work in the cable? How are we doing that? So set connections. Will this come back as a random thing if I get components by class? So get components by class. Yeah, and get random, get a copy, and random, random integer in range, and that'll be 0 to 3. This is just a test, by the way, just so we prove it's working. We'll just plug that into there. Oh, actor component object reference. Oh, that's because it's not the wrong size. So it's BP electrical client base connector. There we go, and that should change that. No, it hasn't. No, so we'll just reconnect that. And get output actors. I've got to redo that. Probably. So let's just do get a copy and then plug that in there, and that should be the same reference now. Yeah, there we go, and that can go in there. So compile prototype, and it's gone to the second one, and let's it's gone to the third one, and let's back to the second one. So we know they're working. I just want to make sure it gets in before. What have we done? There we go. Oh, I have to move it just that little bit. There we go. It's gone to number 4 then. Every time I do it, moves twice. There we go. Naturally number 4. So we know that works. At the moment, we need to change our cable later on to make sure that works. So let's just randomly choose a port. So there we go. We now have our generator that has configurable ports. Now what will happen is when we make other generators, we duplicate those ports. They don't matter what they're called, we can duplicate those ports, and as long as they all carry that tag, yeah, they will always get served a connector, which is fantastic. What we also need in here is probably a way to verify what is connected and how much it is using. That could be interesting, to say the least. It's not difficult. It's more time consuming than difficult, but yeah, that could be very, very, very interesting to do that, which is good. So we're going to leave it at that. That gives us now our automated generator ports based on where we place these objects. So when we create new ones, it will automatically create the ports for them. So that means the cables will always have somewhere to connect to. What they look like is your thing. Yeah, we could actually go into the electrical cable and figure out the rotational thing for this. We could. We could. Do I want to yet? Probably not. It's not important. It will be important, but it's not right now. Let's get the nitty gritty going, and we'll go from there. Because what we also need to do is have a detection that nothing is connected. So yeah, we'll have to keep doing like a random get, and we need to check to see if they're all connected. Yeah, that might be a bit more difficult because how we're going to keep checking which ones, because we could constantly be picking up numbers that are already connected. So what we need to do is add those objects to a new pool, just a temporary array, and check that they're connected. So if they're not connected, add them to a temporary array. Then we'll do a random range integer to join them. But at the moment, I don't think that's a good idea because we're going to be using some sort of cable connection tool. So it's going to be a little bit strange. So what I'm going to do is in the cable itself, just before we close up shop, let's go to the viewport. Is that the beginning? That's the beginning. So that's the end. That's the end. So we're going to do this, and we're going to move this there, and let's change it to 5 there, so that when we pick it up and we hold it, it's going to be in our hands looking like this, and we're going to have two ends on it, an A and a B. So this is obviously A and this is obviously B, so we could just get some new colors for those so we can see which end is which, just for giggles, as they say. Let's do that. Yeah, it's still working, not mess anything up. It's just, yeah, it's just when you pick it up now, it will automatically be in your hands like this. Yeah, and then we need a way to connect them. Now what I will probably do is change away from those scene objects and change them to collision spheres, so that we can so we can target the ends of them. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Change those from scene objects to collision spheres so that when we target them, it will just come up with an option for connections. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So yeah, there we go. We need to add in some stuff for power and stuff, so we'll do that in the next episode. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you've learned something, because I certainly have, and we will see you next time, hopefully. Thank you very much for watching. Take care now, and bye bye.